Imagine all you want to do is live your life on your farm. Maybe build it out a little bit because it's a family farm. Get a cat or two or three and just live your life. Like you don't want no trouble, you don't want no drama. But one day you get chased down and you almost get eaten. Let's have a conversation about this book. This book is called, and I'm reading this exactly as it comes. That time I got drunk and saved a demon. This is book one. Okay, I loved this fantasy story so much. One of my favorite authors, Kimberly Lemon. So this story starts off with Cinnamon. Yes, her name is Cinnamon, and her family owns a cinnamon farm. Now they have in their world the money, right? They're very well off because they have the cinnamon farm. Now in this fantasy world, they have to give offerings every year to this goddess. And I'm putting goddess like that, and you'll figure out why. So in the story, they have one girl and one guy who are going to save the Shire. I can't think of any other word to say it. And so they have this huge celebration. With this celebration, there is drinking, there is fornication, there is everything going on, just having a good ass time. Now, Sin, is enjoying it and living her life. And she's like, I'm just glad I don't have to be a part of this shit. And I am here getting drunk, having a good time. She has a best friend who is the cheese dealer. And so she gets cheese from her. Everybody's good, drinking, like I said, fornicating and just living life. She decides to go home. As she's walking home, she feels like something is watching her. And so she keeps walking. And then she feels like, this doesn't feel right. And so then something comes out and starts chasing her. When this happens, she hauls ass. When she's hauling ass, she sees this giant like demon coming after her. So she's running. And then what happens is, I think she falls because of course she has to fall. And when she falls, she has like cinnamon because again, she is cinnamon. She has cinnamon in her pocket. And so as she's running, like she's running, she falls, she collects the stuff and then he comes on top of her. So she clocks him with the cinnamon. And when she does that, his mind for some reason just is open. He's like, oh, like what am I doing? And so he sits back and then he just automatically falls asleep. She gets up and she hauls ass again back to her home and closes the door. When she does that, she's like, I can't believe this just happened. What the hell is going on? So she finally falls asleep. When she wakes up the next day, the demon is at the door. And he's like, yeah, sorry about that. Can I get your help? And she's like, what the fuck? Like, what? So she is like, nope, I'm not even, this is not real. I don't care. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. So she goes to her parents' house. Her mother was this badass warrior. She has tattoos everywhere. So her mother knows exactly how to defeat certain things, what to do, and she has her mother's spirit. Like she is a badass woman. And her daughter, in turn, Cinnamon, is the same. And so when she's at dinner, or when she's at breakfast with her family, she has two brothers, and then she, of course, has her dad and then her mom. She leaves the demon and is like, I'm not listening to this. So she goes to her parents' house. He waits a little while, knocks on the door, and is like, hey, can I get your help? So her mother is like, what are you doing here? Because again, her mother has seen battle, has seen everything. And he says, I need your daughter's help. I need her help because this so-called goddess that you all are supposed to be worshiping is not a goddess at all. She is a witch. And because she is a witch, she is enslaving my people and I need your help. Your daughter put the cinnamon on me, and when she did that, my mind was foggy before, but now it just opened. And she's like, what? And he's like, no, I really need her help. Sin is reluctant to go because a few years before this, her sister was taken. They were at a river and all of a sudden her sister just disappeared. And so she's like, I don't want to put my family in the same predicament where they are not sure what's happened to me. And so I don't want to go. Her mother in turn says, I think you should go. Like, I think you should go. This is your time to have an adventure. And what do you have to lose out on? Just go. You will be safe. You have all the things, all the smarts, all the ways that you are able to take care of yourself. You know how to take care of yourself. So just go. She says, okay. So she does decide to go. Now, before they even make it out of the Shire, right? Before they even make it out, there's a boy who comes up to her and is basically trying to threaten her. Again, as I said, she's a badass. So she clocks him again, just like she clocked the demon, and is like, get out of here. You and your brother, get out of here. So that part was really funny. And then as they're going on, they're talking and he's getting to know her. The demon's name is Fallon. He gets to know her and they, start this sort of kind of relationship, platonic at first. And so they are having a conversation. He's talking to her about what he knows, and she's telling him things about what she knows and what is true. And they're Shire. As they are going on, they're going on this adventure. Again, all of this is a massive adventure to get to this location. They realize that they have to go to 3 different temples to try to kill this witch, because what the witch has done is taken a part of herself and put it in 3 different temples around this area. And so when they get to the first space, they go into this beautiful area and they realize every monster or demon is enslaved by someone. So when they get to this area, someone sees them and is like, oh, where's his collar? Because he shouldn't be out without his collar. And each monster or demon that they see has a collar on. And that collar tells whomever is looking at them who they belong to. So they decide to go to this inn. Again, this is a funny part because there are 2 inns that are competing against each other, and they trade barbs and they trade disrespect to each other, like real on disrespect about mamas, grandmamas, aunties, uncle, like disrespect. That shit was hilarious. And so they decide to go to one of the spaces where they feel like they will be treated the best. And so they go in and they're having a conversation. Every part of the demons and the monsters in that area, all of them don't talk. So Fallon, had to act like he was under this fog as well. And so when they get into the room, he is like, I can't believe I have to do this. This is so like disrespectful. And I just feel like this is crazy. And the innkeeper is listening at the door. So the innkeeper comes in and is like, hey, I heard everything that you said. I want to help. And just let me know what I need to do. So they hatch this plan to go to the first temple. And when they get to the first temple, she's walking. Cinnamon is walking and she is seeing some things. Like she's seeing somebody beat this, he looks like almost like a werewolf, almost to death. So she's like, hey, I will buy that monster from you. I will buy him. Just tell me how much it is. Because as she's looking around, she sees that they have all of the pelts of these beautiful pelts, and the majority of them are from the enslaved monsters and demons. So she's like, I'll buy him. Just let me know how much it is. And when she does, she buys him. And when she buys him, she puts the cinnamon under his nose. And when she does that, he wakes up. And he's like, oh my God, like, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then they find another monster and they do the same thing for him. And again, he wakes up. So they hatch this plan. And she's like, listen, this is what I'm going to do. I need your help. I need you to act like a distraction so I can get there and get rid of this one part of this goddess who is not a goddess, because she's helped them enslave you. So if you stand with me, you will always be free. They said, fuck yeah, of course. So when they do this, they go to the temples, and the temple has witches, of course, that are taking care of the temple. So she walks in, and when she walks in, there's a chalice on a pedestal. So she has to go in and switch one that she bought in the market that's a direct replica of that one. She takes it, and as she takes it, this weird noise starts to happen. And so she takes it and she starts to bang it. And as she's banging it, she's destroying it. And as she's destroying it, all you hear and you see is people going crazy around her, because they know, like, oh my God, she's destroying this artifact that is in this space. So when she does that, she realizes that this is what she's supposed to do. But then she sees like all these people are trying to attack her or starting to attack her. So the werewolf looking creature that she got out of it, then there's another creature who she helped. They start to kick ass. And then all of a sudden they see this black almost monster in the sky. And she's like, what the fuck is this? It's Fallon. Fallon is a dragon. He didn't tell her. She didn't know. So he goes and he's raising everything to the ground because they tried to touch her and he has feelings for her. So he raises everything to the ground and is just hauling ass, and they're fighting and everything. They do they finally get it. Half of the city is demolished. And because of that, they are now able to take care of all the other enslaved monsters. So she hits all of them with that cinnamon and they all come out of this fog. Now, when she does that, what ends up happening is they now have nowhere to go. So she's like, listen, we are going on this adventure. We are going to be going to these next 2 stops in order to in order to get rid of this witch who we thought was a goddess. And so they're like, so she's like, if you're down, you can come with me. If not, like, it's no hard feelings. Y'all can go. So they're like, no, we're going with you. Like, we are going with you. They have a centaur. They have like a snake man and some other, like, it's so many different variations of like monsters that you would think about in a fantasy story. And so the person who, they decide to get on this boat, they commandeer, I'm not even gonna call it a boat, a large vessel. And when they do that, the innkeeper, who has been there all along the way, is like, listen, I can be the captain of this. My dad taught me how to do this, so I can be the captain. I can take you wherever you want to go. My inn is destroyed anyway, so I don't have anything holding me here. Let me help you. So they were like, okay, let's go. You are the one. So of course she's a badass as well. So she takes them and they start on this adventure to go to the next location. When they get to the next location, it's even crazier. So each location they get to, it gets harder and harder to try to, one, find the artifact they need, and then for her to go in and like break it apart. And so when they get to the final destination and they find it, the people who had been sent from her village or from her village are there. And they're like, what are you doing here? And she's like, I'm here to save y'all. And they were like, save us from what? Like, we're here to protect this land from people like you. And why do you have all these monsters with you? Like, what? No, we about to throw hands. So there's a fight that ends up happening. And so when that fight ends up happening, she goes skirting and moves into the space that she needs to get to the temple. When she gets into the temple, all hell breaks loose because this is the final showdown. So all the while when they've been going to each of these locations and like just hacking these artifacts, this monster, who is a goddess, who is a witch, has been growing weaker and weaker and weaker, but she's still strong as fuck. So they have to fight her. So it's the captain of the boat. It is Fallon, who again was the monster who became a dragon, and then it's Sin. So they're all trying to fight this thing, and they vanquish her. And what was so interesting about this is now it's like, okay, now what? Like, what do we need to do? What do we have to do? And so he, which is Fallon, starts to, well, he's already fallen in love with her. So he's like, listen, I'm going to go wherever you go. So if you want to go home, we will go back to your house and I'll just have to build something for me. But I'm going to let you know right now that no take backsies. Like, we in it to win it. Like, you are my mate. And that's all it is. You are my mate. She's like, that's fine. Like, that's okay. Like, we good. Okay. If that's what you want to do. But it was such an adventure. And there are 2 other stories in this series. So definitely get this one if you like fantasy stories about Black women who are in the fantasy space, who are loved and taken care of, and also are badass and like to go on adventures. This is that book for sure. Let me know if you liked it. I left some things out on purpose because I want you to get those little moments of like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. This is a fantasy story and it's amazing. But definitely let me know what you think.